And hello there, this is Dr. Jeff Phillips, and I'm trombone professor at Belmont University, and it's mid-state trombone etude time again. Yay! So, the way I do these is I go through them and kind of point out things that you might play wrong or ways to practice little bits of things before you really start trying to go end to end on these etudes, so you can work out some of the details. All right, so the first one I'm going to look at is the technical etude for grade 9 and 10. It is in 6/8 with a dotted quarter equals 72 to 80, so that's not too awfully fast. Now, in your brain, you should always be thinking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so there go your eighth notes. And as you work it out, I would suggest doing that a little bit slower and thinking of the eighth note. So I'm going dee da da dee da 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 da. So I'm going really slow, just so I know everything's in the right spot, especially the dotted 8th, 16th. Okay, those can get a little lazy sometimes if we're not careful. Okay, all right. So think of it that way. As you get a little more familiar with it, you're going to want to feel it in 2 beats in a bar. So you're going dee da da dee da 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 dee da da dee da 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 dee dum bum ba dum bum 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 bum. Okay, so sorry about my sight singing skills there. You'll get the idea. All right, so look at the curved lines above. We want to try to get those in there. The second big beat, first measure. Look at that key signature. No sharps, no flats, no excuse to miss a note. Okay. And look at the next one. First one slurred, second one not slurred. Okay, and let's go ahead and look at that right now. Measure 2, the big beat 2, E, D, E, F, G. Those are 3 of the most out of tune notes that will be heard in the audition. Make sure your E is slightly further out because that partial is sharp. So F, slightly flat first position, and then the G, sharp second. If I don't play that in the correct spots, let's see. I played all the correct positions. Well, not really. Okay, so you want to really pay attention to that. That can be a disaster if we're not careful. Just practice doing that, lightly articulated a few times. You might practice it slurred first, just to get the feel of it and go. Exactly, that's right there, Crockett. Exactly where that G is pitch-wise in that sharp second position. Okay, going back to the first measure, that E on the end. Hear the difference? Yeah, he did, and he's a dog, so you should hear the difference. All right, so I'm going to pull that E out just a little bit. Third measure, then we'll go back to the first line in a second. But the third measure, dee da da dee da da. Okay. Kind of give a little push to the first note of every group, and you're gonna be a little softer. In this particular etude, my interpretation of this is just with a little bit of emphasis. I don't think it should be overly loud or overly short. I do not think is musical at all. And even though I'm not judging, if I were, I would count off if you played it that way. I think that's just ugly. Don't do it. So I interpret that with just a little bit of weight. And same thing on the very last measure, as long as we're here. Okay, ta. Just kind of a nice, good attack with a little resonance on the end. Going on to line 2, piano. Natural slur. You've got an option there. If you play your D in fourth, you got a natural slur. You could play the E in fifth if you're really adventuresome. And do all that next measure in fourth. That might be a little bit much for our brains to handle without exploding. But I like coming back to F for the first position on the F, and play the F and D in both in first. I don't know. For me, it's just a confidence thing. Work with it. Do what feels best for you. Last two measures: lightly articulate the 16ths, and then a little weight on the eighth. And I would put a little crescendo there, which will lead me up to the G, which is marked forte, and it's the higher note, so that will help you get it out, and might help me get it out. Let's see what happens. Oh. All right, so that would be a thing to kind of secure. Play that slur from D to G a few times. So that you get that secure. It kind of sounded like British police were outside my door. They're not. Okay, so key thing on this is also getting those subtle dynamic changes. Work on those. But this one, okay. Where's the other one? Lyrical, 9 and 10. Okay, key of F minor. I always think it's good to play the scale that goes with these. Okay, do you know your F minor scale? Let's go through it. So you're gonna play F, G, A flat, B flat, C, D flat, which is there in your key signature. And then look at this. There's a couple spots you've got E naturals, and then F. Play through that F minor scale actually in both octaves a few times. It'll kind of get your ear oriented to the key bass, okay? All right. All these are marked about the same tempo as far as the, but they have different words. That's interesting. Okay, so another one to practice the groups under the curve. Everything that's under a curve, practice those note groups first, just to do it. Just take my word for it, okay? Then when you play it, the sections will make more sense and the phrasing will make more sense to you. Go ahead before you start and look at measure 3, dotted 8/16 there. Oh, this is the one. Yeah, this one you got dotted 8/16. You have 8th notes, you have triplets, and you have 16th notes. You have every rhythm known to man, almost. And so it's going to be very important that you subdivide, okay? Let's go from the beginning. I'll talk about subdivision. So within the first 4 measures, I have dotted 8/16. So I need to be subdividing the 16ths in my head. 1, 2, 3, and da-dee, da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-dee-da-da-dee-da-da-dee-da-da-da-da. I articulated that last part wrong, but I'm trying to get you to understand right now. Actually, that was a mistake. But I'm trying to get you to understand the da-da-da-dee-da-da-da-da-da, that you're thinking that as you play the dotted 8/16. Well, as you first begin it, that would be a good thing to do is play. Okay? And make sure you're thinking that as you play it. So, from the beginning, mezzo forte, knock the M off, play with a good healthy sound. Okay, we'll go that far. Crescendo there to that low F, which that's good. It has an accent that goes this way. Interpret that as it's just a little weight, a little length, and not a splat. Ugly. Don't do that. Okay. So. So full value with just a good articulation on the front end. Looking at the third measure. Dee-ya, dee-da-da, and then. Okay, working to get that just as smooth as you can. Natural slur when they're there, depending on whether you got a valve or not. Okay, that's that part. All right, looking at the next part. I've reached my mezzo forte, so if you've got that at a good, healthy volume, then you start there and you decrescendo into the second line. Okay, so that way you can start with a good, healthy sound. As you get into the second line, you're not playing so soft that nothing comes out, because nothing's worse than going and then panic sets in. So start good, allow yourself a little wiggle room there. Okay, so now as I get to the second line, my brain's got to switch gears from thinking sixteenths to triplets. D da D da 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 triplet D da da D D da D D D D D da D D da 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 da. Okay, so know what your subdivision is. 3 notes on a beat, 2 notes on a beat, 4 notes on a beat. So the beat stays the same, and you don't wiggle around with that. So that's kind of a challenge there. Crescendo as you go up to the high A flat, so that will make things somewhat easier. I don't know. There's 3 notes that can be terribly out of tune. E, a little bit far out, a little bit flat second. F, a little bit of flat first. G, sharp second. If I don't, I've got this. You heard that, I know you did. Okay, so you want to make sure you make that adjustment. And then the A flat. I would suggest just going from the E to the A flat a few times and back down. All slurred, just to get them under your belt. Okay, slur it, tongue it, just so you can get those pitches secure, know exactly where they are on the horn. All right, so now, I would need to practice that. As you're playing the 8s, think 16ths. What? Yes, it can be done at the same time. Da, 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 da. So those won't slow down. Make sure you play a D flat after the E. Then you want to be a little bit softer, but not too soft, because you're going to get softer as you go to the end. So you got to have enough to make that contrast there on the last 2 measures. So be thinking 1 and a 2 and a 3 and 4 and with a slight rallentando there. Hold it out full there on the end, a little bit longer than what I did. Let me do that again. So you got a nice lift off there as you get softer. But start the last 2 measures a little fuller, and that may mean that you need to play that A flat out in the second line with even a little bit healthier, okay? Bring that up, leave yourself a little room there at the end for some contrast. All right, that's kind of it on those 2 etudes. Hope that helped, and happy tromboning!